afternoon, students. Welcome to Arjuna Academy for Achievers. We will be discussing the CET test paper 2, and the topic is on human reproduction. So, to start with, the first question goes: layers of an ovum from outside to inside is option 4: A. Corona radiata, zona pellucida, and gland membrane. B. Zona pellucida, corona radiata, and gland membrane. C. Vitline membrane, zona pellucida, and corona radiata. D. Zona pellucida, vitline membrane, and corona radiata. So, if we observe, we know very well that the ovum contains the applied number of chromosomes, and the layers of the ovum from outside to inside is option A with corona radiata, zona pellucida, and vitelline membrane. So, option A is the right one. Second one, sperm's acrosome as A. Hyaluronic acid and proacrosin, B. Hyaluronic acid and fertilizin, C. Hyaluronidase and proacrosin, D. Fertilizin and proacrosin. If we observe the options here, the close option here, we can say that the acrosome present at the anterior part of the head releases the enzymes hyaluronidase and acrosin, right? So the acrosomal reaction does not begin until the sperm comes in contact with the oocytes, zona pellucida. So what happens here? The hyaluronidase enzyme destroys the hyaluronic acid of the ovum and enters into the ovum. So the enzyme, the sperm enzyme acrosin function in sperm binding to and penetration of the egg into the through zona pellucida. So the correct option should be here is hyaluronidase and proacrosin, which is the one which is responsible for the anterior part of the head of the acrosome to the sperm's acrosome to enter into the ovum. Third one, the middle piece of the sperm contains A. Mitochondria, Golgi body, centriole, B. Axial filament, centriole, axial filament, C. Mitochondria, centriole, axial filament, and D. Golgi bodies, axial filament, and centriole. So if we observe here again, the middle piece of the sperm contains the mitochondria, which is we know very much, which is responsible for the motility and the energy of the sperm. Centriole is also present in the middle piece, and the axial filament is the right option, the C. Fourth one, Sertoli cells are found in the heart, A, B, liver, C, germinal epithelium, and D, seminiferous tubules. So obviously we know Sertoli cells are found in the seminiferous tubules, which acts as the nurse cells for the developing sperms. Fifth one, if for some reason the vasa efferentia in the human reproductive system gets blocked, the gametes will not be transported from, it is not formed from A. Epididymis to vasa deferens, ovary to uterus, vagina to uterus, D. Testis to epididymis. So obviously students, we know if the vasa efferentia, because after the testis it moves from vasa efferentia, from vasa efferentia we know where exactly it moves into the epididymis. So in this, if at all the vasa efferentia is blocked, the gametes will be transported, cannot be moved from the testis to epididymis. So the option D is the right answer. Sixth one, corpus luteum is developed from A. oocyte, B. nephrostome, C. Graafian follicle, D. none of these. Obviously, the corpus luteum is developed from the leftover Graafian follicles, right? So after the release of the ovum. So option is definitely C. Seventh one, the Leydig cells secrete A. estrogen, B. testosterone, C. Progesterone, and D. Corticosteroid. So we know very well, students, the Leydig cells are nothing but the cells which are responsible for production of the male hormones, that is the androgens. And here it is the one which is the example testosterone is the one which is responsible to be produced by the Leydig cells. Option is B. 8.1. Uterine, endometrium, epithelial glands, and connective tissues are broken in menstrual phase. This is due to A. Oversecretion of FSH, B. Lack of estrogen, C. Lack of progesterone, D. Overproduction of progesterone. So if we observe here, what happens in this process is that the menstrual flow or the cycle is due to the lack of progesterone. Why do you think every menstrual cycle occurs? Because when there is a lack of progesterone, the corpus luteum is not formed, and because of this, the uterine, endometrium, the epithelial glands, and the connective tissues are broken in the form of menstrual flow. So option is lack of progesterone, that is option C. 9.1. Which one of the following events is correctly matched with the time period in a normal menstrual cycle? I don't know how straight the students are of you. 9.1. That is A. Release of egg is the 5th day. B. Endometrium regenerates from 5 to 14th day. C. Endometrium secretes nutrients for implantation, that is 11 to 18 days. D. Rise in progesterone level 1 to 15 days. So, which of the following events is correctly matched here? So, if you observe here, the ovary and the uterus changes during menstrual cycle. In the menstrual cycle, days 5 to 14 are the period of regeneration of the endometrium. So, that means to say option here for the 9th one will be B, because here it is correctly matching with the number of days. So if you observe, the release of egg occurs on the 14th day. Endometrium regeneration takes place for 5 to 14 days, and endometrium secretion nutrition for implantations also is wrong to around 8 to 10 days, and rise in progesterone level will be from 14th day onwards. So the right option is B. 10th one. Seminal plasma in human males is rich in fructose and calcium, A. B. Glucose and calcium, C. DNA and testosterone, D. Ribose and potassium. So obviously we know the seminal plasma contains fructose and calcium. It is rich in calcium and fructose. The human semen contains the seminal fluid as well as the sperm. Together it constitutes the semen, which is nothing but fluid with sperms, fructose and calcium and some prostaglandins. So option A is the right option. 11th one. The main function of the fimbriae of the fallopian tube in females is to A. Release to ovum from the Graafian follicle. B. Make necessary changes in the endometrium for implantation. C. Help in the development of corpus luteum. D. Help in the collection of the ovum from ovulation. So obviously the fimbria are the cilia-like structure which is present in the infundibulum near the margin of it, which helps in the collection of the ovum after fertilization. That is option D. Okay. Now, 12th one. In human secretion, which of the following is used to confirm implantation of embryo? I repeat, in human secretion, which of the following is used to confirm implantation of embryo? So the options are A. Gastrula, B. Trophoblast, C. Inner mass of cells, D. blastocyst. So if you observe here, in human secretion, the gastrula is nothing but it is formed after gastrulation, gastrula. So this is out of question. Trophoblast and inner mass cells are the ones which are responsible for formation of the embryo, but trophoblast is the outer layer, which is the one which gives the confirmation of the implantation in the endometrium wall of the uterus. So the right option is trophoblast, which is the sign to confirm that implantation of the embryo has taken place in the endometrium wall of the uterus. And inner mass of cells are the ones which are used for the developing to further to develop the embryo. So 12th one, B is the right option. 13th one, when released from ovary, human egg contains A, one Y chromosome, B, two X chromosomes, C, one X chromosome, D, XY chromosome. Obviously, the option should be one X chromosome because when released from the ovary, when the human egg is has undergone meiosis, definitely the two daughter cells which are produced having only one X chromosome. Since they are homozygous, they have both X and each daughter cell receives one X chromosome. So option is one X chromosome. Option C. 14th one. Structure connecting the fetus to placenta. Structure connecting the fetus to placenta is called A. Umbilical cord, B. amnion, C. Yolk sac, D. chorion. Definitely, the option should be umbilical cord because all the other three are the extraembryonic membranes. Now, what is this umbilical cord? It is found in the placental mammals, and it is nothing but the connecting link between the developing embryo or the fetus and the placenta, which helps in exchange of gas and between the fetus and the mother, transportation of the food, etc., which helps in the between the fetus and the mother. So the right option is A. 15th one. The hormone that prepares and maintains the uterus during pregnancy is secreted by A. Corpora cardiaca, B. Corpus luteum, C. Corpora albicans, D. Graafian follicle. Students, one of the pair of separate or fused bodies, whatever it is we call, is in the nervous tissue, is in the insect is nothing but called as Corpora cardiaca. Now, what is this corpus luteum? It is nothing but which is necessary to be produced when the level of progesterone is high, and it is the one which is responsible for maintaining pregnancy in the uterus. And corpus albicans is nothing but when the corpus luteum gets degenerated, and Graafian follicle is nothing but a matured follicle. So the right option that prepares and maintains the uterus during pregnancy, the hormone is corpus luteum. Option B. Identical twins are A. Monozygotic, B. Isozygotic, C. Bizygotic, D. All of this. The option is definitely 16th one, which is A, because monozygotic. What do we mean by monozygotic? When twins are conceived from one egg and one sperm, they are called as identical or monozygotic twins. So the biological mechanism that prompts this type of fertilized egg to split into two, because it has already been fertilized, it is they're from one egg and one sperm. So after fertilization, it is being from made to separate, and hence they almost look alike, and they are called as monozygotic twins, which is a amazing mystery because how exactly does it is rarely we come across with the monozygotic thing than twins. So B is the sorry, A is the right option. 17th one. The number of chromosomes, the number of autosomes in human primary spermatocytes is A 46, B 44, C 23, D 22. Autosomes means only somatic chromosomes, which doesn't allow the allosomes, that is sex chromosomes. So definitely the option should be 44, which is B. 18th question. The embryo at the 16 cell stage is known as A. Morula, B. Gastrula, C. Blastula, D. Blastoma. A very easy question. It is definitely morula, which looks like a mulberry fruit, and hence it is called as a 16-cell state. Option A, morula. 19th question. Human egg is alecythal, B, centrolecythal, C, telolecital, D, megalacythal. It should be mega. GA is, we can just delete the GA, megalacythal. So here, obviously, it is alecythal because human egg is devoid of any yolk, hence it is alecythal. 20th one. The uterus opens into the vagina by a canal called A, cervical canal, B, fundus, C, ampulla, D, oviducts. So the uterus opens into the vagina by a birth canal, also called as a cervical canal. A. 21st one, which is goes like this. Fertilization takes place in A, cervix, B, isthmus, C, ampulla isthmic junction, D, follicle. Students, as we know very well, the secondary oocyte will be present in the ampulla isthmus junction, and as the sperm enters, the fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube at the junction of ampulla isthmic junction. So option C is the right answer. 22nd one. Attachment of blastocyst of uterine wall. Attachment of blastocyst in the uterine wall is called A, fertilization, B, implantation, C, deplantation, D, all of this. Obviously, when the blastocyst is when after fertilization, which takes place around after 7 days, the implantation occurs, and this where exactly the blastocysts get embedded in the uterine wall of the endometrium, and this is called as implantation, and the option is B. 23rd one. At which stage of the cell cycle? At which stage of the cell cycle secondary oocyte gets arrested before pregnancy? Secondary oocyte gets arrested before pregnancy. Options are A, anaphase 1, B, prophase 2, C, metaphase 2. Students, this should be wrong. It is not metaphase 3. The option given is metaphase 3. Please make it to metaphase 2. And D, telophase 1. See, here if we observe, the primary oocyte is formed from oogonia, isn't it? Gamete mother cells during oogenesis. So what happens here? Primary oocytes enter prophase 1 of meiosis and remain dormant till puberty. So they remain arrested at this stage, at birth. But they remain arrested because of the lack of LH, that is luteinizing hormone. At the onset of puberty, what happens? The primary oocyte undergoes again the first meiotic division. This results in the formation of secondary oocyte. So secondary oocyte starts developing second meiotic division, but again here it gets arrested at metaphase 2 until they meet the sperm in the fallopian tube. The secondary oocyte doesn't complete its meiosis until the sperm is met and fertilization occurs. So after completing meiosis, the secondary oocyte gives rise to an ovum. So the right option should be metaphase 2. The option given is metaphase 3. Please change it to metaphase 2. 24th one. If you observe, the placenta is a connection between A, fetus and vaginal wall, B, fetus and fallopian tube, C, fetus and uterine wall, and D, embryo and scrotum. Definitely the option should be fetus and uterine wall. So if you observe here, what is this connection all about? Because the placenta is a temporary organic connection that connects the baby with the uterus during pregnancy of the mother. So the placenta develops shortly after conception and attaches to the wall of the uterus. So the baby is connected to the placenta by the umbilical cord. So option is fetus and uterine wall. 25th one. If you observe this diagram, identify A, B, and C in the given figure given below. If you observe this, this is a chart of the oogenesis. So obviously, the A should be. What do you propose, students here? 25th one. A is oogonia, B is primary oocyte, and C should be secondary oocyte, which leads to the development of the ovum. So A, they have given secondary oocyte, B, oogonia, primary oocyte, B, oogonia, B, primary oocyte, C, secondary oocyte, A, secondary oocyte, which is wrong, B, A, oogonia, B, secondary oocyte is wrong. So option B is the right option where it says A is oogonia, B is primary oocyte, and C is secondary oocyte. 26th one. The cessation of menstrual cycle at the age of 50 is called A, ovulation, B, gametogenesis, C, menses, D, menopause. Obviously, when the menstrual cycle period of menstrual flow is being stopped in a female, that particular period of time is called menopause. D is the right option. 27th one. The figure given below illustrates the changes taking place during the human menstruation cycle. Identify the hormones A, B, C, D, and E from the figures. In the boxes shown in the figure, write the name of the hormones controlling the stage in the human menstrual cycle. Students, if you observe, there's a follicular phase which shows A, ovulation B, luteal phase C, D, thickening of the uterine lining, and E, maintenance of the uterine lining. So obviously, option A says A, FSH, B, LH, definitely for ovulation. C, also corpus luteum function is to maintain by luteinizing hormone. D, thickening of the uterine lining is by estrogen. E, maintenance of uterine lining is progesterone. So option A is seems to be the one. B says LH, so out of question because follicular phase is not developed by LH. C again, option A is FSH, B is LH, but C it says FSH, it is wrong. And D, A FSH, B LH, C LH, but D it says thickening of uterine wall is not by progesterone but estrogen. So the right option is A. A is FSH, follicular stimulating hormone. B is luteinizing hormone. C, again the luteal phase is maintained by the corpus luteum by luteinizing hormone. D, again estrogen, and E is progesterone. 28th question. Colostrum is important for newly born babies because A, colostrum have antigen, B, colostrum have antibody, C, both A and B, D, colostrum have more nutrients than ordinary milk. So we know very well colostrum is something which contains IgA antibodies. IgA. So this IgA antibody is rich in colostrum, so which is very essential for the development of the newborn baby. So it contains this antibody IgA. 29th question. Hormone which causes the parturition is A, estrogen, B, oxytocin, C, prostaglandin, and D, all of this. Obviously, the right option is oxytocin, which is produced by the posterior pituitary gland, and after the fetal ejection reflex, this oxytocin causes the uterine contraction and responsible for parturition, which is nothing but called as delivery of the baby. 30th question. It's an assertion and reasoning statement. Statement 1 says, a woman passes out HCG in the urine during pregnancy. What is HCG? Human chorionic gonadotropin hormone. Gonadotropin hormone. Statement 2 says, presence of this HCG in urine is the basis for the pregnancy test. Option A says, statement 1 is true, statement 2 is true, statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. B says statement 1 is true, statement 2 is true, statement 2 is not the correct explanation for statement 1. C says statement 1 is true, statement 2 is false. D says statement 1 is false, statement 2 is true. We know very well a woman who passes out HCG in urine during pregnancy is obviously right, And presence of SCG in the urine is the basis for the pregnancy test. So the option statement 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. So with this, we complete this CET test on this topic, human reproduction, students. This was found to be helpful. Thank you.